Hey guys, I'm Neiman from MVL Leasing, and you know how much we love fast cars here at MVL, but speed is nothing without aerodynamics. Here's a quick compilation of the various aerodynamic systems on some of the cars we've reviewed. So if we get down here, you can see there's a lot of aerodynamic features down here. You have all your radiators and stuff back here that are protected with the plastic grill over top because you're probably going to be hitting a lot of debris coming at you on the track. This whole front end looks very similar to what you have on a normal Huracan, but it's not. It's actually all one piece of carbon fiber. So let's just open it up so I can show you what I mean. Now, although it shares the same basic shape as a regular Huracan, there's some very important differences up here. Car actually sucks in air through that main air dam and brings it up through here and expels it out the hood. This is to create less drag and make the car more aerodynamic and provide more downforce. Here you can see that this whole front clip is all made of one piece of carbon fiber. And this is all done to accommodate those extra aerodynamic features I was telling you about. Your front wheels here have these nice carbon fiber louvers that are built into your fenders, which are actually attached to your hood that I was just showing you. So this helps with less drag and aerodynamics. Really nice touch too. Now with this particular STO, a lot of trim pieces are highlighted in a gloss red. So the tips of your spoilers that kind of fold in at the bottom, your rear diffuser, your front splitter, and your side skirt extensions. This is all for ground effects, downforce, aerodynamics, things like that. But the one thing that demands attention on this car is this snorkel up here. Now, this being a track-focused car, you don't have a regular engine cover that has glass. This is all one-piece carbon fiber, requires a special key in order to unlock and be completely removed in order to work on the engine and whatnot. Now, the one thing that I think is interesting is that this appears to be an air intake snorkel. So this would take air that's rushing over the top of the car and almost force it into the engine. But this particular snorkel is not connected to the air intake system. Your air intake inlets are actually on the sides. So I'm not sure what purpose this serves. I think it looks amazing. Maybe in the comments you guys can help me figure out what the purpose of this is. All I can figure out is that maybe it helps cool the engine because it takes air from the outside, forces it into the engine, and there's lots of openings at the back of the engine bay in order to dispel all that hot air. That's what I think it is, but if you guys think otherwise, please let me know. This spoiler is a fixed spoiler, but it does have some mechanical adjustment. In the SVJ video for the Aventador, I went over Lamborghini's ALA system, their active aerodynamics. Now in GT3 racing class, active aerodynamics are not allowed to be used. You can have adjustable aerodynamics, but it can't be active. The rear spoiler on this has a few settings that you need a special key in order to adjust its angle. Now, this is really important depending on what circuit that you're on. Some circuits have more straightaways, some circuits have more curves. And Lamborghini even understands that not everything happens in a straight line. Races are won in the corners. So depending on how the racetrack is set up with the elevation, the bends, the apexes, and things like that, every track is different. So every track requires specific adjustment in order to make the car shine the most on that particular circuit. This kind of has like a gooseneck spoiler here. These are made of steel that are connected to the body and can actually, the spoiler almost hangs off of it. This spoiler has a spoiler. This is another spoiler attached to the main spoiler, and these winglets also help keep the air contained. Now the one thing, this is a first for GT3 RSs, is the venting on the fenders. When Porsche did this, everybody lost their mind because it just makes the car look that much more aggressive. The purpose of these vents is to help deal with the turbulent air that's in the wheel wells. It's a really nice touch. They have them on GT2 RSs as well, and they carried this on with the GT3 RS that followed this one. It's been a huge hit since it came out, and people are manufacturing fenders to put on 911s that are not RSs that kind of carry on this same look. And they did this with the GT3 RS that followed as well, and it looks just as deadly. And when you're standing here, you kind of get a better idea as to how flared these wheel arches are. The one thing about 911s that's always good is that they're very subtly styled. This one is probably the loudest one, but there are still a lot of subtle details that kind of indicate to you that this car means business. And it has this vent in it. Usually that always denoted a turbo. It didn't take them very long to integrate this as a feature for the GT3 RS. And this basically feeds the air intake system. So I think that's a really nice touch too. Being an RS, weight is an important thing to consider, or something that the engineers put a lot of emphasis on. And one way that they did that is by giving it a carbon fiber front or luggage compartment cover and a magnesium roof. It's painted, you can't tell, but I'm telling you, it's made of magnesium. The glass on the back and on the sides is actually extra thin polycarbonate plastic. So it's not the same glass that you get in a regular 911. You don't even have defrost lines in here because it's plastic, but they were able to save a significant amount of weight by making that change. The one thing that kind of asks for the most attention on this car is the rear wing. So this rear wing has some level of adjustability. It's manual adjustability. So the idea is that if you're going to any circuit, like whether it's Most Sport or Circuit of the Americas, whatever, you can adjust the angle of this wing. When you adjust the angle of this wing, you adjust the downforce, and some tracks you need it more than others. So it gives you that level of adjustment, but you got to do it manually. The pillars that hold up this spoiler are actually kind of hollow in the middle. This is done for two reasons: lightness and strength, because when you have this shape in here, this wing is very, very strong. The pillars of this spoiler, where they attach to the engine cover, also have another spoiler. So there's another spoiler that's actually integrated into the bodywork as well. So there's actually two spoilers back here. You see your third brake light, which is kind of exposed right there. And you have your engine cover that has a few openings where it can actually suck in air for the fans on top of the engine cover. So right away, what you'll notice, what sets a Urus Performante apart from a standard Urus is the hood and these vents in the hood. The hood is carbon fiber that's specific to the Performante, and you also have these carbon fiber vents. These help with downforce, and they also help expel a lot of heat out of the engine bay. Your front bumper is revised, so you have a few more fins and vents that help direct air over, around, and underneath the car to provide more downforce. Lamborghini claims that this car has almost 40% more downforce than a regular Urus. Lots of carbon fiber. They're not really shy when it comes to that stuff. So your front valence and these fins on the side, these are all carbon fiber. The Lamborghini Urus was introduced for 2019 and remained relatively unchanged until 2022. For 2023, they kind of re-identified the car in two models, Urus S and Urus Performante. This Performante has a few important differences over a standard Urus S. Now, although it's the performance model, you'd think it has more horsepower, but it doesn't. It actually has the same power plant and the same horsepower. But the changes come with lightness, downforce, and a few other important details. So I told you a little bit about the hood and the front bumper and things like that. If you come around here to the side, you'll see more liberal use of carbon fiber. So these wheel arches are normally a different color, or they're the same color as the car. For the Performante, it's exposed carbon fiber. Lamborghini's Ad Personam program lets you customize specific elements of the car. Whoever had spec'd this car originally went for the carbon fiber mirror cap. These side skirts here on the side can also be made out of exposed carbon fiber, but again, whoever spec'd this particular one out just wanted it to be black. The car is turbocharged, which means it generates a lot of heat. So you'll notice a lot of slats and things like that in front here that direct air to the different heat exchangers and whatnot. Efficiency is also a big deal when it comes to Mercedes. So a lot of these slats are actually active. So in the wintertime, these slats will probably close to create a wall. This way, it helps the engine warm up quicker, which is important because if you want to get on the gas, it's important for the oil to be up to temp before you start using the car in that type of manner. One is this motorized spoiler. This is just for downforce. You have manual control over it, or it can operate itself depending on what speed you exceed. The cool thing is that when it tucks away, it goes nice and flush with the bodywork. Even when it goes down, you still are utilizing one third brake light. So when it's up, this thing goes up enough that this is exposed. When it's in the down position, it's perfectly flush and exposes this, so there's no need for 2/3 brake lights like you have on most 911s. The exhaust finisher is the same as your badges, which is a nice dark chrome, and same with the 3-pointed star on the back. It really complements this stuff. Adds a little bit of shine, because I think the satin look is really good, but I never want to do away with it completely, and the badges are a really nice trinket. Since you have an engine that's that big and puts out that much power and is turbocharged, it's nothing but radiators behind here. It's Radiator City. You got a big one back here, and you have a few down here, all designed to cool different things, from your transmission to your motor oil to your coolant and things of that nature. Car's got air ride, so you can raise the suspension if the weather or the terrain looks a little bit hairy, and it's sport tuned suspension too. So when the car gets up to certain speeds, it'll hunker down. It may not look like it, but this car tops out at about 208 miles an hour. That's faster than a Lamborghini Huracan, faster than a Gallardo, and faster than a lot of cars, although it doesn't look like it. Back in the day, Bentley and Rolls-Royce actually used to be sister companies, and they used to share chassis and things like that. And you could put the two cars beside each other. And the only reason you know you're looking at a Bentley is because the front bumper was changed or the headlights were changed. Now, these were both hand-built, extremely luxurious British cars. But the thing that set these two brands apart was that Bentley always had that sport appeal. Bentley engaged in motorsports competition. Rolls-Royce never did that. Rolls-Royce was always all about luxury. When you look at a standard Aventador, all the Aventadors all have these huge heat exchangers that are kind of hidden behind these vents. Now on the original Aventador, you had a nice trim piece that kind of makes this more pronounced. With the Aventador S, they kind of ditched that and kind of made it a little bit more streamlined. I still think it looks cool and it still serves the same purpose. Your side skirt changed as well. So with the old Aventador, there was no side skirt extensions, it was just the side skirt. But now it kind of looks similar to the one on the departing car, and they added this nice carbon fiber side skirt to the car. Really changes the ground effects and makes the car feel like it's lower to the ground. Definitely has some aerodynamic purposes as well. Another thing that changed is your vents back here. So we'll start back here. This piece actually moved. So it's similar to how I'm sure you guys have seen Murcielagos, where they have these vents that kind of open up and they look like afterburners on a jet or something like that. They're motorized, they do their own thing. They open depending on speed and temperature. But for the Aventador S, it's all fixed. So it's less complicated and still serves the same purpose. So this basically helps cool your engine. This is still for your air intake. It all serves the same purpose and it fits the same way, but just in a less complicated manner. Another thing that I mentioned to you guys that was a huge improvement on the Aventador's handling is that four-wheel steering became a standard feature with the Aventador S. The rear wheels turn in opposing directions at low speeds and they turn in the same direction at high speeds. This helps with stability and it helps with handling. It was a huge improvement to this car because your wheelbase is very long. When you make that sort of improvement to a car with a wheelbase like this, it really shows. You have these nice big air dams that kind of house an array of different heat exchangers. The car is turbocharged, and as you guys know, turbocharged cars generate a lot of heat, especially this guy. So you have maybe 3 or 4 radiators that are hidden behind this front bumper, and you can kind of see them behind these fins. One thing that's important when you have a car that can hit 205 miles an hour is aerodynamics. And that's one thing that Porsche has in spades, just based on the general shape of the 911s. But with the Turbo S and some of the other cars, other models too, but namely the Turbo S, you have active aerodynamics. And this was kind of introduced, I believe it was introduced in 991 generation, the active part. These fins that you see here can actually rotate. So when they're open like this, the car has a bit more drag, or is a little bit less aerodynamic, but the air that flows in there is able to feed those heat exchangers. Now, the car is able to monitors on its own how much cooling it needs. So if you are in different driving modes, these will tend to open or close, but if your engine's getting too hot, then they're just gonna stay open. So the car kind of does a good job of taking care of itself, but leverages these little bits of technology in order to alter the aerodynamics of the car. You can't see it now, but we're gonna get a video of it deploying, but the car actually has a plastic front lip at the bottom of the bumper here. So when you put the car into Sport Plus mode, or when you achieve certain speeds, depending on the driving environment, there's a lot of factors that come into play. You have a little deployable front spoiler that kind of folds out like this. When you do that, that adds more downforce. Whether you're on a track or in a bend or something like that, that stuff kind of always helps.